In this video, we will be discussing adding and subtracting fractions with unlike denominators. To the right there, I've listed the steps that we need to take, but I will point them out as we are moving forward with the example. So for the first example here, I have 2/5 plus 1/7. So hopefully we recognize right away that we don't have common denominators. But we need to have a common denominator in order to add or subtract fractions. So my first step is I'm going to go ahead and I have to find the least common multiple of the two denominators. And the least common multiple will give us the least common denominator. And that's what we're looking for, a common denominator, the smallest common denominator. So, step one, least common multiple. The least common multiple of 5 and 7 is 35. So I'm assuming that we understand how to find the least common multiple. If you don't, obviously you can check out our videos on that. So that's step one. Step two, we have to write equivalent fractions. So what I have to do now is I have to write a fraction that's equivalent to 2/5 that has a denominator of 35. To do that, I'm going to go ahead and ask myself, what did I have to do to the 5 to get to 35? Well, I had to multiply by 7. So I'm going to do the same thing up top. 2 times 7 gives us 14. Now on the bottom, to get from 7 to 35, I had to multiply by 5. So I do the same thing up top, and 1 times 5, of course, is 5. So I have 14 35ths plus 5 35ths, and I can add that together easily now because I have a common denominator. So 14 plus 5 is 19, and I keep my denominator as 35. And that number cannot be reduced at all, so that's going to be my final answer. All right? Let's take a look at another example. So for this example, I have 7/9 minus 1/2. There's no difference in how I'm going to do this problem, but this time, with the exception of the fact that this time I'm going to subtract. All right, so step one, I have to find the least common multiple. So the least common multiple of 9 and 2 is 18. So moving on to step two. Let's just write equivalent fractions. So what fraction is equivalent to 7/8 that has 18 as a denominator? To find that out, again, I'm going to say to myself, to get from 9 to 18, I had to multiply by 2, so I'm going to multiply my numerator by 2 as well. 7 times 2 gives us 14. On the bottom, to get from 2 to 18, I had to multiply by 9. So I multiply the top, the numerator, by 9 as well. 1 times 9 gives us 9. So now I'm left with 14 18ths minus 9 18ths. So 14 minus 9 is going to give us 5, and I'm going to keep my denominator of 18. So 7/9 minus 1/2 is 5/18. And let's take a look at one more example. All right, in this example, we have 3/4 plus 5/6. Again, I'm going to follow the same exact directions, same steps. First, find the least common multiple. So the least common multiple of 4 and 6 is going to be 12. All right, so on to step two, let's find equivalent fractions. So to get from 4 to 12 is times 3. So I'm going to multiply my numerator by 3, and that gives us 9/12. And to get from 6 to 12, I multiplied by 2. So 5 times 2 gives us 10. So now I'm left with 9/12 plus 10/12. I add them together, and I get 19/12. Now, if we notice, this answer is a little bit different in the fact that it is a improper fraction. So we have to simplify this. We have to turn it into a mixed number. Again, I'm going to assume that we know how to do this, but we'll go through it real quickly. But obviously, if you need help, check out some videos on that. But essentially, this means 19 divided by 12. So how many times does 12 go into 19? It goes in there one whole time, because 1 times 12 is 12. There are 7 left over, and I'm going to keep my denominator of 12. So 19/12 is equivalent to 1 7/12. And that is how we add and subtract fractions with unlike denominators.